Hi everyone! In this video I am doing some more ink sketches in my mixed media sketchbook, and I'm using a Copic multi-liner today. So the two pens I'll be using will be the 1.0 millimeter Copic liner, and I also have a little set of Staedtler pigment liner pens. They're similar to Sakura Microns. They're just a different brand, and I'm finding that some of the differences between these brands are more about how wet the ink is, about how sketchy the lines are, and things like that. I think Sakuras tend to be slightly drier than these, and I wouldn't say it's because they're newer or older. It's just the nature of whatever material they use for the pen nibs. The Staedtler pigment liner that I'm using is a 0.1 for shading. I typically don't use pen nibs that are that tiny because I can't see them, but it's great for shading, for getting like hair-like strokes and not getting too much dark hard lines laid down. So there's a lot of different size ranges between a 0.1 and a 1 millimeter, but I kind of like the contrast, not having to reach for too many pens, and I'm just trying to work out some logistics in my sketches here. So I've been trying to get more of a format of different orders of which I lay down the facial features. So I used to start with eyebrows and then do the eyes and then try to line the nose up, but lately I've been trying to use the nose as the central point of the portrait and then build out from there. And I find that my face ends up a lot more straight, I guess you could say, or kind of where I want things to be end up a little bit more, I don't know, how I'd like them to be, at least in this stage of drawing portraits. That's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, I also wanted to try doing some ink wash over these, and I do have a lot of different types of ink, ranging from fountain pen ink and the basic Higgins black pen ink, and India inks, a lot of different other ink materials. But I am using, for the first time actually, in like some finished little sketches here, the INKTENSE pans, and I'm really trying to refrain from calling them paints because they look like paint. They look like watercolor paint because they're in little cakes and they're in a little palette style thing. It comes with a water brush. But I don't think I've ever used them for anything because I always reach for my watercolors. So I tend to try to keep media not so mixed, like related items. So like doing ink sketches, so I want to use ink to color it. I guess if I really wanted to stretch it, I could use acrylic inks, but that would still, to me, in my mind, be using acrylic. So I might use acrylics more when I'm using acrylic paint, to do like an undersketch or something. So, but because acrylic and ink are like both in the title, I guess you could use them for both. So I don't know, like I have a really weird way of relating stuff. It has to be, so yeah, because these are marketed as an ink product, I am going to use them as such. And the wash aspect of ink is something that is a little bit different than watercolor in the way that it spreads, the sheerness that you can get, or what we would call transparency. And it's just a little bit different. Even though you would use it the same, there are some slight differences. So I don't know if it's something you guys would be able to see in these little sketches here, but another aspect of it, of course, is because it's ink, it doesn't really move a whole lot, especially on this mixed media paper. It's not cotton, so once you put it down, it's there. And yeah, so I'm just trying to work out some little things, as you know we do when we're doing sketches and sketchbooks. And of course, I'm bringing you guys all along for the ride, so hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Comment, like, subscribe if you feel the pull to do so. And yeah, hope you all are having a great day.